we'll get to see him go up against Starduck later on, but we'll see. This is a very, very close matchup. And we'll start again on Cosmic Sapphire. We're, of course, in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We, of course, have the green Protoss player coming down from the land of the UK, representing Pakistan, as well as that clan Red Dragons. He is Zain.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Australian Zerg player himself. He is red, representing the CranKy Ducklings, making his comeback, his return to competitive play. It is Oreo.
I am going to be staring at that production tab just to figure out, how these two players play. Zain, like you said, has been kind of on and off a little bit when it comes to participating in more online events, but he's definitely still been there, so it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to the meta. Oreo, however, I mean, we need to see whether or not he even knows what the current meta is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, talking about ZVT, once again, the meta or the compositions and the overall styles and everything for ZVT has remained the same for the most part. The maps do influence things, don't get us wrong, but not as strongly as some of these other matchups, especially because of that patch. So yeah, we are going to be keeping our eye on things. There are other things that Zain, I'm sure, will throw out this series. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he does open up Glaive Adepts. That does still work quite well.
Oh, absolutely. Especially on maps like Cosmic Sapphire, where the bases are a little bit more isolated from each other. But once again, if we think back to that previous series, I don't think Oreo's going to have a trouble with creep spread.
I would hope not. As so far everything is looking pretty standard. We have a hatch gas pool opener from Oreo, so no aggressive plays, no earlier gases, or no earlier spawning pools. He even does pull out of gas, so he doesn't intend to continue mining and going to I don't know, a Bane Bust or a Fast Roach Warren or anything too crazy like that.
Yeah, nice and standard to start with from Oreo. Or I guess nice and economic, I should say, coming out from Oreo.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, across the map, Zain has picked his tech of choice, and so far things are looking quite modern as he is going for that Stargate.
Yeah, I'm going to be staring at that Stargate to see what is the first unit that he makes from that. If it's an Oracle, we know for sure that's a hero style. If it's a Phoenix, however, that complicates things a bit.
If it's a Phoenix, he's lost his mind. He's crazy, Fab. He's crazy. And we see it is not going to be a Phoenix, and it is not going to be a Void Ray either.
And I was hoping who was that player? Azura? I was hoping the Azura style of Void Ray in the Mothership would catch on, but apparently not. Apparently not just yet.
Yeah, that would be crazy, mate. That'd be crazy. Unfortunately, I don't know if Zain is even aware of that build, and I hope he remains unaware of that build.
I hope he remains uncorrupted.
I'm getting some Sparkling Tunica flashbacks, puppy. Oh my god. But for the time being, the first Oracle is going to go across the map. He does reveal himself, by the way. Oreo is fully aware, and he's getting his spores ready. He's getting his queens in position, and Zain does have a second Oracle behind this.
Yeah, very, very modern, very, very textbook hero style coming up from him so far.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time as the Oracle is a little bit preoccupied, we have the Lings go for a mass run by here across. They're going to get a full surround on this Adept. They can definitely get a kill in this pylon. Can they force a cancel on the CC, on the Nexus, sorry?
They might be able to. The Oracle only now is being forced back. Beautiful cancel on that warp in. Very well done by Zain, though. He did not waste too much energy across the map. And that's enough of a deterrent for Oreo. Zain's third base will remain building for now.
Yeah, Oreo punishing Zain for moving out with his first Oracle. It did need to remain at home to be safe against any kind of Ling run. Meanwhile, there is no shield battery behind this, so the Stalker could go down. But right now, Oreo is just making sure that these Oracles are busy at home and not trying to deal any economic damage across the map.
Yeah, he cut a couple of corners earlier on. I mean, only now are his spores finishing up, but now that they have, Oreo has way less to worry about when it comes to these oracles. But that's a third oracle being produced, like.
Yeah, let's go through triple oracle into Blink Stalkers. This is just straight up hero style. There is Blink on the horizon, and Oreo is working on a fast Evo chamber with +1 melee. So, mate, Oreo, he's been watching some StarCraft.
Oh, he knows. He knows.
He knows, Papi, he knows.
He was there when it was written. Something along those lines.
Yeah, so it's great to see that both players are up to date with current StarCraft. We do see the Oracles trying to dip on in, but so far Oreo has been in position. We do see the Forge on the way for +1 as well, and we have to keep our eye on Zain, on his Gateway Explosion. Right now, he is working with a decent amount of gates, but if he throws down more, he could be looking to try and hit a timing with that +1.
Yeah, there's always the option to try to bust down this Stalker. Like you said, we don't have too many shield batteries. We don't have any sentries right now. Actually, we have no shield batteries either. Zain is pumping all of his resources into his army right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be looking to be quite active with them. He's been stocking up a lot of energy on these oracles to throw down those revelations, to slow down that creep spread, and to push on into these fresh bases of Oreo. Meanwhile, I love this as well. Oreo is going Ling Hydra to deal with this.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that additional anti-air, a little bit of DPS as well. It is a bit more expensive than just pure Lings or pure Ling Bane, but he's on 4 bases. He's getting a 5th. This should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. The Hydras are ideally used against these Oracles, and they also provide a little bit of extra DPS here against these Stalkers. On top of that, the Hydras can also transition into Lurkers. Oh!
If he so chooses to, that is an absolutely huge stasis ward, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough. I say that as the Stalker reinforcements walk back on top of this. Queens are finally starting to go down. The Hydra's only now popping out. 20 Lings are on the way, but they're only on the way.
Yeah, they're only on the way. Honestly, that was honestly a great surround there by Oreo, catching so many of those Stalkers, but you can't underestimate the power of the DPS of these Oracles. The Lings all went down, and we saw that Oreo did end up losing a decent amount of his Queens as a result of that. Thankfully, he does survive the push, and with that, he now has a decent army. He now is safe at home.
He's looking to take advantage of that. He's going straight across the map for a counterattack. Very wide open 4th base over here.
Yeah, Zain being so aggressive with his expansions, taking a 5th base already as well. Oreo going to try and poke on in, but there are already Stalkers in position. Oreo is going to be forced back.
And this is the back and forth that we kind of expect in modern TVP, ZVP.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's this kind of mass eco style where Zain is mass expanding and Oreo has to try and hinder this economy. Going for Baneling run-bys would be ideal, but that is where the Zealot run-bys come in, just keeping Oreo back at home.
Yeah, a lot of these Banelings actually have to be forced to connect with the Zealots instead of across the map. Oreo does scout that 5th base, but how does he take advantage of that is going to be the question when there are Stalkers already right on top of his face.
Oh, exactly. Stalkers already pressuring this 3rd base. The Ling's forced to rotate back over again. He needs to find a little bit of room to try and slow down the economy, to go for a Baneling run by, whether it's at the 3rd, at the 4th, or at the 5th. But, oh, God.
Oh, a lot of Banelings once again kind of being wasted here on Zealots.
Yeah, they have to be. I mean, Oreo, he's saying this seriously, he has 5 spines on the way. Jesus Christ. He really doesn't want to worry about Zealot run-bys. He really wants to have them take care of themselves. Meanwhile, he's able to catch a couple of Stalkers here, but that creep spread is being receded.
Yeah, slowly but surely. It's really a testament to how important it is to keep these Stalkers active on the map.
Yeah, not just Stalkers active, but because of the fight earlier here at the linear 3rd base, Oreo was losing some Queens, if you recall, when the fight wasn't going his way. And now he is down to only 4 Queens, basically 1 Queen per base to inject. So he just doesn't really have enough spare Queens to keep spreading that creep.
I'm honestly a little surprised he hasn't remade them at this point. But it seems like he's saving a bit of a bank for his Hive Tech units, or not quite Hive Tech, but infestation pit units like the Viper and whatnot.
Yeah, the infestation pit is on the way for that Hive. I imagine he wants to get into Lurkers. Lurkers do shift the way that this game plays out. Meanwhile, finally we have a little bit of a Bane run by, but Zain does respond in time.
Beautiful body blocking coming in from Zain. Only 1 Baneling detonating at a time. You know what that means? It means that It means that damage isn't instant, but that damage definitely was. Nice pick off on 15 probes. But can Oreo keep up the momentum?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, a great run by here at the 5th base, but the Ling Bane is not really ideal against these Archons. There are only 2, but you know what? They're going to dish so much damage to this Ling Bane.
Yeah, and a lot of these Banelings aren't even able to connect on anything. The Archons having a very, very easy time picking them off while they're split. And Oreo's got to do something a little desperate right now to keep the Protoss army off his back, off his face, off his everything.
Yeah, that was just not a good fight for Oreo at all. He wasn't able to make use of his infestation bit either. I thought he was maybe going to try and go into lurkers, and that would have been the call. Instead, he tried to force a massive engagement, and he's going to try and do it again.
Like so. Oreo being a little bit selective when it comes to his Baneling targets, which I'm not sure he can afford to be right now. All of these Banelings are just being sniped one by one.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if they get sniped, they still deal their damage. The Stalker army is going to evaporate, but it did cost Oreo 10 of his drones here at his fresh base, and he may still lose the hatchery.
It's looking like that is going to be the case here. Zealots rock up, but of course all those Banelings were spent a little bit earlier. This is a nice position for Oreo, though. He's getting some pretty good surrounds.
Yeah, he gets some good surrounds, but the hatchery is still going to go down. Zain taking a 6th base, by the way. We have a 6th base Protoss against a 4 base Zerg. Ay, like this swarm or this hero style is just so, or can be so oppressive once you get that ball going, once you get the momentum going. Zain doesn't have the largest army, but again, he just needs a little bit more time to rebuild.
Yeah, it's a snowball style, or it's a snowball build, and unfortunately for Oreo, he did not enhance the global warming yet. I don't know where I was going with that. He didn't melt the snowball before it became an avalanche. That's a better analogy.
it's okay.
Oh, that's global warming, yep.
And yeah, Oreo is now on the back foot. He just doesn't really have an economy to speak of. He's oversaturated. He needs a base, and Cosmic Sapphire, there's only one base to take. Decent Baneling connections here on the Zealots, but oh god, there's just not much else to protect these Hydras.
Yeah, the army supplies weren't looking too dissimilar, but Archons, man. Archons are so powerful. GG, Zain takes game number 1.
GG again. Specifically Cosmic Sapphire, it's so difficult to establish a 5th base, especially because there's only one real 5th that you can take. The other option is trying to take that gold, but that gold is so far out there. It's so isolated. It's even more difficult to hold on to.
Yeah, you're gonna need more than just 5 spine crawlers to hold on to that gold base, for instance.
Oof. Definitely, and now with that, Zain is up in this series again, showing his prowess in that PvZ matchup. Oreo clearly did understand, like he did know how to combat that, and the plan was there. But again, like that fight at that 4th base after he got the Baneling run-bys off, which were great run-bys, don't get me wrong. But I do think that Oreo, he smelled blood when there wasn't any.
Yeah. He smelled blood when there was, I can't think of a metaphor.
It was like he had hay fever. It was
yeah. He was having a stroke.
that's not what hay fever is, Yaku. That's... Ay.
He smelled blood, but it was his own.
Not like
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, I definitely feel like what you said, Oreo overextending a little bit, but it also feels like Oreo was a little bit more passive in that fight when there were definitely a lot of times where he needed to try to halt the momentum of Zain, but it didn't really happen.
Yeah, it's a really difficult balance to find there in that matchup when it comes to splitting up your army, having enough to defend Zealot run-bys on the left, Stalker pushes on the right, and also go for run-bys of your own. It's very intensive.
But listen, that was the Protoss map. Now, we're in the Zerg map. Actually, that's not accurate, but I'll say it is. Data under the sea. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our green Protoss player coming down from the land of Britain, but also representing Pakistan, as well as Red Dragons. He is Zain.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of data under the sea, we have the Australian Zerg player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Oreo.
I actually have to admit, I didn't realize that the Red Dragons were still active anymore.
I think they are. I think.
Oh,
I think
one
it's
F pro
yes,
scenario.
yes.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Oh,
For old time's sake,
oh.
Zain rocking that Red Dragon clan tag. Much love for his old UK-based team. A lot of love and a lot of support there. Oh boy, and so far it's doing him well. You know, he was able to take a lead in that series, but as you were saying, this map, Data Under the Sea, is a map that has a little bit more options when it comes to expansions. If your 4th or 5th base is getting denied, you can always expand on the other side of the map. There are plenty of bases to take.
Yeah. Plenty of bases to take, plenty of avenues to spread your creep.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see what Oreo decides to do with this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm curious, because now Oreo has a bit of a feel of how Zain is playing. You know, Zain is always an enigma to us whenever he shows up for a DreamHack Oceania qualifier. You know, how is he playing? What is he doing? What is his style currently? Oreo, for having first-hand experience against the triple Oracle into Blink Stalker, now he's going to be a little bit more prepared mentally.
Yeah. He's got a Bane bus. No, probably not.
Oh my god, did you know it takes like 11 Banelings to kill a Stalker? It's crazy.
11 Banelings?
Mate, try to bust the Stalker wall.
Right.
It's terrifying, mate. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that does. Is that with or without a shield battery though?
Yeah, we can do some testing.
Because there's like there's like a little half second in between each Baneling connection where the Stalker does get a little bit healed, but if it's 11 Banelings all at once, I feel like it's a little bit less than that. Like, not that much less, mind you, but, you know, 9 Banelings?
Maybe.
It's still insane. Stalkers have a lot of health, and they are an armored unit, so...
Yeah, they are surprisingly tanky compared to both Zealots and Adepts. Oh boy, so they can be terrifying when you see them in a wall. But we'll see how this plays out, as once again, Zain is going for a Stargate.
Yep, if it ain't broke, don't break it, and so Zain is continuing with that hero style. Doesn't see any reason to switch things up from here. Which is unfortunate, you know? Motherships deserve to be made more often.
Do they? Yeah, maybe they need a little bit more love, you know? I'll back you up on that one, sure.
Yeah!
Oh god, they are the Protoss moms, as they are. But we'll see how things go here. So far, the exact same opener from Zain. He's going to be able to clean up this Overlord, confirming the opener. Oreo even going to be able to be here just to check and get eyes on the timing of that 3rd Nexus.
Yeah, very much like game number 1. He's doing whatever he can to keep the Oracle back. He does not want to cut any corners, or the opposite of what I just said. He wants to be able to cut corners wherever he can, but yeah, at this point, he's going to have to throw down a Spore Crawler.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? He actually forced the Oracle to activate his Pulsar Beam here defensively. So again, Oreo forcing a reaction, being able to cut some corners here and be a little bit greedy. He still hasn't gone for his Spore in his main. Now just throwing it down, which makes sense because now Zain has 2 Oracles, 1 to attack, 1 to defend, or even both to attack.
Or both to do both, yeah.
True.
Is the ideal, but unfortunately there's only so much energy you can have on 2 Oracles. Rocking up into the main base, but the Spore Crawler is up in time, and now we do have a couple of Queens. Zain eating a bit of damage to get some kills, but he saves his Oracles in the end.
Yeah, it does save them in the end. The Oracles can get the hell out of there. Oh boy, and behind this we have that Twilight Council going into Blink Stalker. So again, very reminiscent of that last game, but there are a couple of differences here. One, Zain didn't immediately go into his 3rd Oracle, and I'm curious if he even is, because if he opts not to, we have 6 gateways on the way, he could be opting to skip and delay his +1, his Forge, for a mass Blink Stalker timing.
And we were talking a little bit about how the rush distance on this map, it's not the most straightforward, but it is relatively short. Zain has pylons, he has fast warp-in pylons right outside of his base, and he can just warp in his Stalkers and walk them across the map. no
Yeah.
issue at all.
I'm a little bit concerned here for Oreo. We'll see how this plays out as, again, Zain is going to have so many stalkers at his disposal soon, as soon as these gateways all get up and running. Ideally, if you go for the style that I'm thinking of, you do get like a proxy gateway in the middle of the map, just to reinforce, because this is all done without a robot, by the way, so we don't have a prism or anything like that. But for the time being, Zain, he's just pushing out with what he has, and he did just delay his forge.
Okay. But still gonna be able to hit a very strong timing here. Oreo, he's getting roaches, which I guess alright against Blink Stalkers, but he really needs a mass amount of Lings to deal with this.
Yeah. Instead of going Ling Hydra this game, Oreo is mixing things up. He's going to be going Ling Roach Ravager instead, which also has its place. It also has a little bit more sustainability against these Stalkers. What it lacks, though, is anti-air against the Oracles. But as you saw, there's only 2.
Yeah. Zain really prioritizing his gateways a lot more this game, and Oreo is taking a little bit of advantage of that.
That he is.
Roaches and getting a couple of Ravagers. That, I think, is going to be the big game changer for him.
Oh, but this is dangerous right now. We need more Lings. A couple of Roaches do get picked off one after the other by these Blink Stalkers, and they are applying so much pressure to this third.
So low! The Queens have 1 transfuse. Do they have one more? 1 more transfuse. Do they have 1 more transfuse? They do not, but somehow the hatch is still alive. It is slowly staying alive. I thought it was healing for a sec, but no, not quite.
Oh my god, the hatchery barely survives. I don't know how 1 more shot and it would have been enough. There we go. We have another transfuse on that hatchery. So far, Oreo has gone away with this, but no! The stasis trap goes off.
And that is the prompt for Zain to just walk right on top of his base, right-click it down, and delete the economy of Oreo, just like so. It was going so well for him, like. But then the stasis trap was activated. I mean, now Oreo is going to have access to the rest of his army, but it may be a little bit too little too late. We have so many Ravagers. Oh my god. Oreo has had enough. I think he's done droning. I hope so. Fingers crossed, but this is Oreo we're talking about. He's trying to make up for losing that base by double expanding, but Zain, he's gotten to the point where he has enough of an economy and enough production to start sending Zealot run-bys across the map. That was a kill, and not a cancel, unfortunately. Oreo, it looks like, yeah, I thought for a second it looked like he had enough and he was walking across the map, but yeah, not quite yet.
Yeah, thankfully he didn't, otherwise he would have run face first into that stasis trap. We have more Lings on the horizon, by the way. We have +1 melee, so Oreo is set up to just push out with Roach Ravager Ling, and this can still work well, but Oreo is also on a bit of a timer. Again, I don't really think he plans to drone up. I don't think he plans to tech up either. I think that he wants to end the game with this army composition.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to at this point, right? You said it yourself, he is on a timer. The longer this goes on, the more chances Zain has to get Archons, get Immortals, get Disruptives even. And at that point, I don't think Oreo will have recovered enough economically to have a solution.
Yeah, and Oreo, I don't know if this is it. I don't think he wants to, but he just made a wave of drones. So he's looking to get into a longer game. He doesn't just make the drones, he makes +2 melee as well. I think he has recognized that he cannot end the game with this.
Yeah, so what does he do from here? He is vexed out now. And it's definitely helping him a little bit in the defense. He can afford to split up his army, but yeah, I'm just waiting for Zain to throw down. I'm just waiting for Zain to throw down a Robo Facility or Robo Bay or literally anything at this point.
I mean, right now he's just expanding once again, taking a 5th base towards his opponent, by the way, just to add that much more aggression to his play. He hasn't teched up either, but he doesn't need to. Staying on Blink Stalker Zealot really is working wonders right now, and without something else, without Broodlords or without Lurkers or some other kind of tech unit for Oreo, there's no reason to change.
And speaking of change, Infestation Pit now on the way.
Do you have that Infestation Pit that can definitely help out, whether it's, oh my god, whether it's to get into Infestors or Vipers.
Nice couple of Biles landing on top of the Stalker army that will keep Zain back a little bit. Oreo gets a bit of breathing room and gets a 5th base.
Yeah, 5th is going to be on the way. We have a lot of oracles kind of surveying the area, and Zain is going to rotate over to the left-hand side instead. Oreo has to respond. You were talking about it. Oreo is maxed, but again, a little bit of inflated supply with all that roach trap.
Yeah, not too many Lings with the rest of this army, and Lings already don't take up a lot of supply, so when you say there aren't that many Lings, that's a serious issue. But that was a very good fighting position for Oreo. CranKy on top of half of Zain's army.
Yeah, I would have to agree. At the same time, we have a bit of a zealot run. Ooh, it looks like we did see a force cancel. Oh no, sorry, that was a kill on that 5th base. Ay. So Oreo once again being contained to these 4 bases, struggling to expand.
Yeah, 4 bases is enough to turtle on if you're a Protoss Terran player. Not so much if you're a Zerg player.
Yeah, it doesn't just eat into your economy, it eats into your larva as well. On top of that, we see the 4th base going down, so Oreo knocked down to 3 hatcheries.
I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier on, and he decided not to do it, but I think at this point, Oreo's going to have to try to end it.
I thought you were going to say Oreo has to pull the boys.
Oh, he didn't say that yet today. Yeah, Oreo's got to pull the boys.
Oh my god.
You know what? If you're not making Lings, you might as well pull the boys.
There you go, mate. There you go.
So a lot of them.
Oreo does remax on his army. +2 melee is now done. He's doing his best to try and dance with this, but again, he has very little anti-air. He just lost like 4 or 5 queens. He just can't really deal with these oracles.
Yeah, Zain, he's drifting in and around all of these corrosive biles. He is playing with ping, but that's not stopping him from dodging the biles at the last second.
Yeah, it's really not. We do see the hive is finally done. +3 and Adreno is on the way for those cracklings. Oreo finally, for the first time this game, going for a massive run by it.
Yeah, on a very well fortified base, however, Oreo backs off. He's trying to get a couple of banelings to sneak into a mineral line later on, but yeah, the cannons are already here to take him out.
They are, and oh no! The banelings are being morphed in, but the stalkers are on their way. Gonna be forcing a cancel out of every single one of these banelings at the same time. Zealot run by here at the 4th base of Oreo. Thankfully, he does have a couple of spine crawlers. Lings are also here in time to respond.
I'm really liking this spine crawler answer from Oreo here. Maybe it's a bit excessive, but you know, he doesn't have to worry about a base going down anytime soon.
I also appreciate that it's behind the mineral line as well, just reducing the surface area as best as he can on those spine crawlers. Meanwhile, the Winkstalker army coming in once again, and oh, I really worry because I don't know if you see it, but Zain is getting ready to go into Sky Toss.
Yeah, I saw the Disruptor and I thought, okay, this should just about be the endgame composition of Zain, but not according to Zain. He does sort of get that fleet beacon as well. He does sort of get that mothership for the mass recall.
That's exactly what he's looking to do. Aye. But yeah, he's going to be taking to the skies here. And again, we just don't have the ideal army to deal with that. We do have Corruptors on the way. We do have a Greater Spire as well. Oreo is expanding towards the northern half of the map instead. And also going for some run-bys.
Yeah, I will say that despite being contained economically for so long in this game, Oreo has done a pretty good job of keeping up with the income. I mean, he's not that far behind in the mineral income. The Banelings will do a lot to even things out once again.
They will. They're not done, mate. The Banelings are going to keep on rolling towards that 3rd base. Where there are so many workers. It looks like they won't find the connections that they're looking for, but at least they are forcing Zain all the way back, and they're just providing Oreo a little bit of breathing room to expand. Looks like, though, once again, was that another kill? It was! Oh my god.
5 hatcheries have gone down so far from Oreo. Yeah, that's pretty rough to say the least.
He just wants a 5th, Papi. All he wants in life is the 5th base. The drone for the 5th goes down. It's going to be denied once again.
I mean, I get to trying to take this base. It's a very good position to mine from and fight in, but at a certain point, you gotta expect that it's not worth it anymore. Very nice type on the Disruptor, though.
I mean, he's running out of resources. That's the reality. Like, these mineral patches are getting lower and lower. Like, Oreo just needs to somehow find a way to get a base. And I'm sure he was hoping that after all that aggression, after all those run-bys, he would be able to do so. But Zain was just on top of it with a Zealot run-by on the left-hand side. And Zain is even taking a 6th.
This is the absolute nightmare scenario if you're a Zerg player in a ZVP. Oreo now building 7 spine crawlers. You don't see that happen too
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, we got 7 spines on the way here at our fresh base. Like, Oreo, he needs to hold... That's the scary thing, is that Oreo's also been losing this triangular third base as well. Like, he's... oh my god, there have been times he's been stuck on even 3 bases. Oh, god.
And yet, somehow, he is still able to be maxed out. Ultralisk now out, and they do have kindness plating on them.
Oh, they do have kindness plating. Meanwhile, we do have a flanking purification over. It does get dodged. Nice splits there by Oreo. He's going to come on in. He's going to try and dive into some of these disruptors.
Or at least one of them. He is able to take them out. This is a good position for Oreo. Biles land on a couple of units, but not enough if you're asking me. Oreo, however, is getting a complete concave on top of this Stalker army.
Yeah, he is, but you know what? We should have a massive wave of reinforcing Stalkers. Pure Stalker is all Zain needs, and he's going to push this back. There is no longer a buffer for these Ravagers.
Yeah, it's a reminder to everyone, and mostly to myself, however. Roaches and Ravagers do take up 3 supply instead of 2, so whatever Oreo's army supply is looking at, keep in mind that is inflated.
Yeah.
If they're even, they're not actually even.
Exactly, mate. Zain is able to push this all the way back. It wasn't a bad fight for Oreo, don't get us wrong. If only Oreo had a bank, if only he had an economy to rebuild his army, then it would have been fine. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Yeah, Oreo definitely fought his heart out here in game number 2 and game number 1 as well, but it's hard to imagine a scenario where this game doesn't go to Zain from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, Zain could even take a 7th base from here if he really wanted to. Even this lower base just to expand even further, or even take Oreo's own base, as he is attempting to take a 5th base once again.
Oh, I saw that shadow and I thought, that's exactly what he's doing, but I realized that hatcheries and nexuses look quite a bit different.
A little bit. Oh god, Oreo just going over towards the top left-hand corner, trying to catch another morphing in Nexus. Will not find it. That's another kill. Oh my god.
That's going to be an I from me, Chief. GG's call. Zain will take that series 2-0, and will be advancing the next round to face either Starduck or his opponent yet. Very nicely done by our Pakistani Protoss player.
Yeah, GG, well played. GG, well played in the end. Oh my god, that was such an intense series, and Oreo fought his heart out, but both games did end up going in a very similar direction, where Zain was able to just apply so much pressure and contain Oreo to 4 bases and never allow him to expand. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta melt the snowball, man. Once it starts gaining a little bit of momentum, it is going to go into a complete avalanche of Stalkers and Zealots, and usually Archons, but not in this case, since we saw a lot more Oracles coming out from Zain.
Oh yeah, a lot more Oracles, and we saw, I mean, why not, right? There weren't any Hydras, there wasn't any anti-air. It took a long time for those Corruptors to come out. Again, those Oracles just doing a great job when it comes to being a supportive unit, and just having so much momentum with those Stalkers as well. Oof, aye.
Aye.